your life or your work, do you have stuff that you have to do that the thought of it, you go, oh no. And I call it have a mountain to climb in your work. So maybe a meeting that you have to go to, an appointment, standing up in front of a tricksy class maybe if you're a teacher. Any of you have that sort of stuff that you think, oh, no, I don't want to go? Have that? And if there was a dead quick and easy way that you could step into something more powerful, more confident, would that be something useful to know about? I wish I'd known this when I trained as a social worker. I wish they'd taught me this, because one of the things as a social worker, if you go on home visits, it can be a fairly daunting prospect some of the time. And they never taught us anything about how do you actually get to the stage where you can feel confident enough to go and do it. And one of my sort of very sad admissions is when I was newly qualified as a social worker. Sometimes when I really just didn't feel up to it, what I'd do is I'd tiptoe down the garden path. I'd do the inaudible knock on the door, and then I'd be off up that path like greased lightning saying, they're not in. And I used to feel so embarrassed and ashamed at doing that. But I don't know many people who have to do home visits in the course of the work that haven't felt that at some time. And they never taught us anything useful on my social work course about how do you actually summon the confidence to go and do stuff that you feel anxious about. This is a really interesting and quick way to do it. So the way we're going to do this, first of all, I'm going to ask you to coach me into different emotional states. So just to illustrate this. So let's say for whatever strange and bizarre reason, what I want to do is I want to feel depressed. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to coach me into what external behaviour would I need to adopt if I wanted to feel depressed. So what would I have to do with my posture if I want to feel depressed? So shoulders down. What else? Head down. So hang on, I'll take my specs off here. So gaze down, and how far down am I looking, Leslie? Pretty close to me. So right down. Okay. So I'm looking down there. I'm slumped. What's going on in my face if I want to feel depressed? Turn your smile upside down. So it's and Moira. So there's a and my facial muscle tension in my cheeks. That's loose. So that's my horse impression. I think that's pretty good, that horse impression. I think that's a bit more anger is clenched for me. So I've turned my smile upside down. I'm slumped. I'm looking at the floor. And how am I breathing if I'm depressed? And if I'm walking, how am I walking? I have to say that's tip-top depressing. I mean, you are fabulous at depressing me. I'll give you top marks. So in the very short amount of time that we've been doing that, I could feel tears coming to the back of my eyes. My internal world has gone incredibly gloomy, and truly, I could cry. That's how I know. That's how good you are. That's how good you are at depressing. I could cry. So I'll get rid of that. Shake it off. Okay, so another one. I want to feel anxious. Teach me how to do anxious. What would I have to do for anxious?
Shallow breathing.
So I'm going to breathe shallow. Yeah. And sorry, that's just taken me somewhere else entirely, has that? So I'm going to breathe high and shallow. I'll come back to that in a bit. It wasn't me on the phone, honest. So I'm breathing shallow. What's going on in my face if I'm anxious? So I'll do that when I've stopped talking, so I might clench my teeth. So I'm frowning. What's happening with my eyes if I'm feeling anxious? So, and what am I doing in terms of gestures? So fidgeting. And if I'm moving, how am I moving? So it's not as strong as depression, but I can just get a sense of anxiety. What about if I wanted to feel rage? What would I need to do for rage? Teach me some rage. So I'm going to... It's really hard to do that. So I'm clenching my fists. I'll come back to the flare in my nostrils in a bit. So shoulders back.
Tense all my muscles.
So tense all my muscles. What's going on in my face?
Staring.
Staring. And I'm still trying to flare my nostrils at will. So I've got my muscles tense. What's going on in my jaw? So clenched jaw, staring. How am I breathing with rage? And if I'm walking, how am I walking when I've got rage? I love it. I don't do rage very often. I love that one. So you've taught me. Depression, fabulous was depression. Anxiety, I'll go there less easily. Rage was pretty good. What about if I wanted to feel confident, positive and resourceful? What would I need to do? So shoulders back, stand tall, smile. It's probably not smile like that. That's gone from confident to creepy, hasn't it? So head up straight. I'm smiling. I've got my shoulders back. So eye contact. What sort of eye contact? So if I'm with a group of people, what sort of eye contact? So make sure I look at everyone, but it's not that anxiety eye contact. It's not the tennis match eye contact. It's the scanning the room. So I've got my shoulders back. I'm breathing down here. So breathing down to my diaphragm. Breathing down there. A spring. A spring. Hello. Spring in my step as I'm walking. So I've got my shoulders back. I've got a smile on my face. I'm stood tall. I'm breathing down to here. I'm making good eye contact with people. And how am I walking? So what's my gait like if I'm walking when I'm confident? Light on my feet? At ease? Which
Are you swaggering?
It depends on the look you're going for here. You've got to be careful with this. I don't know what it is about the walking with this one. Do any of you remember the wooden tops and Spot the dog?
Yeah.
It might. So I don't know why, but I always want to do that, which is what Spotty Dog did on the wooden tops. And I think the walk is something, there's something deliberate and purposeful about it. So I've got a smile on my face, I'm stood tall, I'm breathing down here, I'm making good eye contact. And it's a bit faster and a bit longer, yeah. So purposeful, bit faster, bit longer. Thing is, if you ever have to step into that confident, positive state, this is the quickest, easiest way I know. And there's two things happen with it. One is, when you adopt that posture, you feel differently. So this Mercedes model stuff, it's based on one of the presuppositions that mind and body are a system. So what you're doing on the inside leaks out on the outside. What you're doing on the outside affects the inside. So mind and body are a system. If I step into a positive, confident, upbeat walk, I change how I feel on the inside. That's one thing. But the other thing that's as important, if not more important, is that we'll talk tomorrow about how much meaning people take from non-verbal communication. When you step into a powerful, confident, upbeat walk or posture, what happens is other people regard you differently than if you're not in it. So out of conscious awareness, people will regard you very differently. If I'd started the training this morning like this, good morning everyone. Welcome to the Sanctuary and this 4-day NLP Foundation Diploma. It's all about communicating really well and ticking at your best. I mean, I bore the pants off myself with that. There's something about other people take meaning from your posture in a way that they're not consciously aware of generally. So for you to step into this positive, confident posture, in NLP we call it walking with grace and power. So having this as something that you practice and you can step into is a really good thing. So that having practiced it, if you ever have to go into a situation where you need to like pull the rabbit out of the hat, you need to access confidence quickly, this is a really good way of doing it. Really nice way of doing it. And we're going to have a little practice. So we're on the first practical exercise now. And this is one that, you know, it might just test your comfort zone thing. So if I could just borrow Lisa and Louise a minute. So you guys come with me. This is a very short exercise that we do in threes. So one person's going to be the volunteer to be the it person, and then you've got 2 coaches. And the first thing is the it person just shows your colleagues your everyday ambling about sort of walk. So not your Sunday best walk, but your everyday. You know, if I'm ambling about, they're going to walk with me and they're going to notice what they notice about how I walk. They don't just sit there laughing. They join in and they're observing what I'm doing in terms of posture, gesture, all of that. So my everyday ambling about sort of walk's probably a bit like this. So they're just going to notice it. And then having noticed it, their job is to offer me suggestions that I try out. So what's something that I could change? So head up. Don't give me too much, I'm a man, I can't multitask here. So head up a little bit and I'll just notice, ooh, look at this, hello. So head up a little bit, that has a difference. What else could I change? So head up and, oh, now we're talking, look at this, this is very, so they're just going to coach me for a couple of minutes, that's brilliant, thanks. They're just going to coach me for a couple of minutes. My job as the it person is to try it out. Yeah? So to try it on, if anything they suggest doesn't work for me, I don't have to keep on doing it. Very often it's like you don't have to transform the way of being, so very often it's like extend your height by a couple of millimetres, take a slightly longer stride. But in doing it, 2 things happen. You feel different and other people will regard you differently. So this is going to be the first exercise.